We've got bananas in chat. That means we're live on twitch.tv/Asuma. Thank you for the bananas. Chat is very busy today. Clearly a lot of people awake bright and early in the morning. You know, looking for some Minecraft action. And I've got it for you today. With the hype music in the background. Pretty hype, this song. I like it. Listening to a bit of Frank Lapaki today. I never get bored of this guy's music. Okay? Like, I have my favourite artists. Like, I love Dimmu Borgir, Henry Rollins, Metallica. But the reality is, I probably listen to more Frank Lapaki and C418. Like, well, and Crinkles as well, for that matter, with all the streaming we do. You know? By the way, the standoff sign-up has finite. All tournament slots filled. Sorry, I put the book there because I'm going to come back and record something later on. So we're doing some resource gathering today. That's pretty much what we're doing. You know, if Efo or Tango want to challenge me to a standoff game, that would be pretty cool, but they're probably doing their own thing. But that's something I want to do on a live stream at some point. Have someone challenge me to a game of standoff. And welcome everyone. Lots of people talking about what time it is, where they are. Time zones, they are a thing. You know what? Why do we always discuss them on the weekend? No one discusses time zones on my weekday evening streams. But as soon as it's the weekend, oh! Everyone wants to talk about the time zone. Jeez. Do you know what? Just invent your own time zone. Do you know what time it is where I am? Okay? It's 2500 hours. Because I just invented my own time zone. I've been hearing these. Like, I've been moving around my base and I'm like, oh, like, I could swear I could hear an endermite, and then I watched Defo's video and I was like, okay, that explains that. Right, we're gonna need, I can't believe it. Something that I need is in ripe spoiler territory, but I've got a solution. I've got a solution to bypass spoiler territory. Because I'm working on my mega build for the season, peeps. And the last thing I want to do is spoil a mega build, right? I'm probably actually, let me think about this. I'm probably gonna want to fill up about 5 boxes in total for the resources. Apparently I met a wandering trader recently. Oh, look at my wings. Look at those wings. Let's read some noises in the air while we get some XP. Potentially repair a couple of tools in my ender chest as well. Okay, looking at chat again. Still people are, it's like no one wants me to talk to them. Hey look, another endermite. Oh, Tactical Tickle. That's a brilliant name. Oh, don't follow me down. Tactical Tickle. Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Peeps, you know, I really don't want to talk about time zones today, okay? Every time I look in chat for something to talk about, all there is time zones. You know? We could talk about time zones, it would be pretty boring, you know. There's this one called British Summertime. Oh, there's another one called Greenwich Mean Time. Oh, I'm falling asleep already. Let's go do this. Who did the Endermites? Says Sterling Grey. Efo, go check out Efo's latest episode. And what am I looking for? Oh, I've left all the stuff in spoiler land. I'm gonna have to just turn off the stream for a minute and go grab it. I was unprepared. Okay, we got Firalol for 37 months, Dinosaur Alley for free, Spanky Quest for 8, Snowpuff with the Prime, free badges in a coat are here for 2 months. Okay. No, I don't mean that. I mean there's literally free badges inside of a coat. Okay, how do I turn on? Oh, jeez, I'm not prepared. You shouldn't be able to see the screen now. If you can see it, well, shucks. I'll spoil all of my progress. Alright. I'm here, I'm picking up things. Yep, that goes in there. Da -da -da -da. And I need to pick up those two. Right, and then do this, do that, press that button right there, boop, and we're back. Right? Cool. Okay, so to all the people saying spoilers, tell me what you saw. Oh, think you're good at trolling? No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh. And don't say mega project, because that's what I said. What blocks were they made out of, hey? Hey? There you go. Outlaw Josie says, whoa, that was a sweet mega build. Well, it wasn't, because it ain't finished. It was unfinished. Oh, they tried. They tried to troll a troll, and they failed miserably. Okay. I'm messing with you, peeps. I'm always messing with you. 3 badges in a coat. Thanks to all 3 of you for subscribing. Greek is here with cheers and bits saying time is an illusion. Ooh, time is an illusion, is it? I thought it was a dimension. I thought it was part of the fabric of existence. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to sound smart again. Oh, jeez, we got a mega sub bomb coming in. Here I was thinking I'm just about keeping up with those noises in the air, and then we get a mega sub bomb. Great. Great. Thanks. Jeez. Now I've got to read a bunch of names out. Oh. Right. Okay, I'm launching my clicker. So I'm messing up all of my Stream Deck stuff at the moment. Okay, here we go. Here we go. What am I doing? AFK mob. Did it actually? Yeah, it targeted the right thing. Okay, so now I can go boop de doop de doop shididdle doop doop boop. Yes, it's working. Okay. Oh, these sounds are hideous. I've changed my mind. Stop farming. Oh, my eardrums. Thank you. My eardrums. Thank you. Let's look at these. No, that's not alt and tabbing. There we go. Bam. Right, done it. Let's look at these noises in that eardrum. So we've got Cuplex for 10 months. 40 months even. Jeez, Cuplex, thank you so much. Dante Red Eye for 7. Dabjul Maros with the Prime Official. Jaden gifting subs to Sergeant Cena, Mythic Shax, Blue Ghost Master, Ipajar Gestilinstitin. Wow, what a name. meowmemes. Thank you, Jaden, for supporting our community. Appreciate that. We've got T-Bon DC for 9 months. Belt Fred Joe says, what are your thoughts on the simulation hypothesis and the entire universe could exist in a simulation built by a vastly advanced culture? We could be in a video game, says Belt Fred Joe. I personally don't subscribe to that hypothesis so much. I think it's an interesting thought experiment, but it runs up against some problems. Like, the idea is that it could be more likely because, oh, I forget the details, right? But then who's to say that advanced culture isn't also in a simulation? And the one that built that simulation isn't in a simulation, right? Also, some people... let's come back to this in a minute, because I know some cool stuff about this whole conversation, right? Okay, Stray Confusion has gifted 25 subs. Goodness me. Cylinder95, Last Win. Queen Chaos 27. Alexia Played 5. Leonidach. Marip337, Sacred Lotus, Happy Bubble, Unbegettable, Banana Bajam, Mr. Longears, TH Aussie, Alder 9, Pit Cougar, Zahio, Mr. Dragon, Fire SFX, Kobe's Empire, Rebs 22222, Turtle King, Wreckage, Benimo, Memes Mees, Goodbye Sanity, and Jerome J. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Stray Confusion, for that massive sub bomb. It's appreciated. It is appreciate. Thank you for supporting our community like that. Right, gonna swap that over. Get this thing going again. Back to the noises in the ear. A DumDum85 here for 21 months. Gekidoku here with cheers and bits. Joel Goa with the Prime. Vandalize FM with the Prime. Inganis Koa with the Prime. We also got LilDwnstream, KuXHD also subscribing, and Neil1502 here with the cheers and bits. Thank you so much. And Slab Yira Gib with the Prime. Sweet. That is some noises in the eardrum read out right there. They have been read out. So going back to the simulation thing. So I can't remember the specifics of why, but the idea is that in a thought experiment environment, more likely for us to be a simulation than not. But there are some complications to that as well, because then it makes the people who make the simulation more likely to also be in a simulation, right? I mean, maybe the idea of simulation itself is just reality, but the thing that I found interesting is some people crunched, like, they came up with some hypothetical numbers around, okay, this is where computer power is right now. What would it look like if we were to, you know, ramp up speculate the amount of computing power that would be required to actually simulate reality and all of this. And then they realized that you needed like vast quantities of energies and resources. Like you would need to mine asteroids and moons worth of, you know, materials, rare metals, gold, those sorts of things. And you need energy on the level of like creating Dyson spheres, or maybe that was a bit much, but you need to be vastly superior to the level of technology we currently have, and that means going out into space, probably being a multi-planet species, having the capacity to resource gather from asteroids and have an energy source like a sun. And so you need so much that there's this barrier that we look at, right? We look at the history of what's happened on this planet and the hurdles that face us in the future, and it seems like there is this big barrier where how does a species become multi-planetary? It's like a huge hurdle to overcome. And so when people hypothesize on is there life elsewhere in the universe, it's quite conceivable that it could be small microbial life out there in the universe on other planets, then more advanced like multicellular life, more advanced life forms have more hurdles to overcome. And then life forms, let's say with intelligence, which we might subscribe to ourselves, would also have more hurdles. And so basically the further out you go, the more and more difficult it's going to get, right? So if we're living in a simulation, like we've already sort of seen that to get to that level to create the simulation, the obstacles in the way are pretty massive. So that was the thought experiment that kind of sort of helped me. What's going on here? I'm trying to select there we go. I mean, it wouldn't let me select it. There we go. So yeah, there's these big old hurdles in the way, right? Big old hurdles in the way of getting to that level of technology, and that's what kind of convinced me of my gut feeling. I already had a gut feeling it surely isn't actually that we're living in a simulation, but that kind of stuff, you know, made sense. Red Skimmer's here for 12 months. John from the internet is here with the Prime, and Eclipse has subscribed. Thank you so much. Speaking of Eclipse and Soulside Eclipse, pre-stream music today was my own music. If you enjoyed it, hope you did. I might do that on a bit more of an occasion now, since the whole DMCA thing on Twitch. I mean, my music actually is like in the copyright grey zone big time. None of it's licensed or anything, but figured we'd give it a shot. Right, let's head out over here. Got to turn the sound back on. Who's streaming next? Just me. It's not a Hermitcraft live stream day. There's an Endermite sound again. Strumweir is here with the Prime. Thank you so much, Strum. And thank you to all 3,000 of you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the follow button over on here on Twitch. Get notified of when I go live, which is you know, several times a week. Have you checked out Tango's decked out videos? Frenchie asks. Yes, I have. Although there was one where he said like the hermits have to stop watching, and then I've watched a few of the other bits. So I'm kind of watching bits of it to keep myself somewhat in the dark. Right, we're going to borrow this. Oh, by the way, XB now owes me a new beacon because it is August. Okay, where do I want to go? Down here, actually. Oh my goodness me, look at my health. Oh wait, no, I did go in the right direction. Ooh, this is where I want to go. And then we see the gold beacon down here. And that is why I wanted a beacon, my friends. Oh, and I got a gold ingot, have I? Might as well. Don't mind if I do. So I was watching Ren's stream the other day. By the way, hermits should not be doing this, like, just saying. We had an agreement to not mine resources next to the main area. But anyway, I was watching Ren's stream, and he was talking about, do you know what, the visibility is a little bit bland, isn't it? Like, here you go. It's a little bit dark, even when you're in just a bit like this in the Nether. So I was watching Ren's live stream, and Ren was talking about, like, how do we get Blackstone? What are we going to do for this? And I was trying to explain it to him in chat, but I think he was sort of overthinking it a little bit. So this is what you do if you want to get yourself lots of Blackstone, right? Find a basalt delta. If you want to be courteous to any hermit that, like, any player on your server that's then might be building in that area, or, you know, just protect the look of it, you want to go underground. You don't really need to target any area. Maybe avoid lava lakes, but you can go high, you can go low. This is what you do. You just stay in the range of the beacon and hop. Ooh, we've got lava down there. Just start digging around so you get yourself under the ground, and there are just these pockets of Blackstone everywhere, right? And that's it. That's how you get yourself loads of Blackstone and basalt, basically. Right, and this is with those lava pockets that generate in rows. If you've ever flown around in spectator mode in the Nether, you'll notice at the lake level there's like these big pockets that generate. We seem to be next to some of those. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just, you know, like, once you've collected a whole bunch from an area like we've just done, pick a direction and go, and then just wait until you hit Blackstone again. Sometimes maybe you don't. There you go, got it. Blackstone. Right, we got a noise in the ear. We got Nirvek Panda with the Prime, Owl Chaser with the Prime, Mark Guards for 5 months saying, love your videos. How is the hermit you love to collaborate with the most? They're doing well, thanks for asking. That was not a trolly answer, that was a very direct answer, but I think your use of English there might have let you down a bit. I enjoy collaborating with any hermit. I've been especially enjoying recording with Corrales this season. We got to record together again yesterday. It was great fun. It's like the good old days. Except the good old days are today. Torch in the offhand, says Ashwin. Could do. I don't mind scrolling back and forth across the hotbar to place it down. Alright, Bahadi says, you like my videos and you're wondering how I get them out so consistently and quickly. Well, if you're not aware, first of all, this is my job. Like, I do this for a living, creating content. So that means I have a fair amount of time to put into it, but it's a matter of being consistent and being focused on what you want to do, okay? Don't fall folly to the whims of, oh, I'm not feeling inspired today and stuff like that. I crack on, I get things done. So, you know, I have a plan to continue producing content week in, week out, and a way in which I keep myself in the zone of having things to do is every time I have an idea, I write it down. Don't always feel like today is the day I've got the inspiration to do this thing or that thing, but, you know, those ideas, they have their own weight, and so when you're not feeling it, air quotes, like, you've still got it written down, you still know what it is you were inspired to do, and once you just get started with something, it doesn't take long to get into it and get going. So for me, Hermitcraft has got, like, you know, the next 5 to 6 episodes are kind of already there in note form, right? Like, oh, I could do this, oh, I could do that, and it doesn't matter if I feel like that on the day, I just get started with it and then it all comes together. I probably need to start putting some of this stuff away, right? I want to fill up a shulker box with blackstone. That's my goal. Just one, and then we're going to head somewhere else. Take the beacon with us there as well, actually, because I've left... Huh. I went to the area that I didn't want to spoil, and I forgot to pick up the beacon there. That's what I should have done. Oh well. Asuma, do you take days off? Says Rogerly. I give myself a little bit of downtime every day, like half an hour at the end of the day. But sometimes I just go for a walk instead of like watching TV or whatever. But like I have at the moment in lockdown times, I have like one evening a week pretty much, maybe two, where I just take time off to watch a movie and relax. But otherwise, I'm all about doing. I just got that feeling like, unless I'm doing something and being productive and creating and expressing, like I just feel empty. I just feel like this is wrong. I find it really difficult just to do nothing. So that's probably why I put out so much stuff, right? Alright, we got Elid Jenkins here for 14 months, Bodie MC with a Prime, and Elon Dude. Thank you for your subscriptions. By the way, jeez, got a hot cup of tea here, 21 minutes in. Oh, beautiful. There we go. Hot cup of tea. Do you go on vacation, says Opessy. Yeah, I do, but not at the moment because of the old pandemic. Oh, you cheeky pandemic. I wanted to go on holiday. Have you checked out Cub's Pyramid? Cub is one of my favourite hermits to watch this season. I love what he's doing in his base. I got a great appreciation for what Cub does. In a way, he reminds me a little bit of how I used to play back in season 2. Although the game was different then. You couldn't make stuff as cool and as interesting as he does these days. But man, Cub's a real grinder. Real grinder. But it's one of the things that's so cool about Hermitcraft is like the diverse set of playstyles. Like, you can really go to any hermit and just find something different with each person, right? There might be some similarities between a couple of hermits here and there, but for the most part, everyone's got something like kind of unique to offer. This is an absolutely ginormous patch of blackstone, just saying. And as we mine down, I'm kind of aware of that, so let's try and mine around this so we can figure out where it is. I've also got a very like completionist instinct here to get every little block of blackstone. Might be better just to focus on, you know, getting a reasonable amount rather than being too obsessed with picking up every little one that goes off into a ledge. Yeah, I can hear the stuff dropping into lava again. There we go. You can use the sound actually a little bit. Like, well, as soon as I hit basalt, it sounds different, so I can kind of use that to guide me a little bit here. That's kind of cool. Why are you gathering blackstone? Because I ran out, so I wanted to stock up. I also might use it in my mega build. Grian is newest, says Shady Bob. That is true. Grian is the newest hermit. Do you know what I could also do? I should probably use a different material for this bit, but I could cover it up. I could just cover it up, and then... Hey, did something fall into it? Doesn't matter. That's better, isn't it? That's way better. Okay, another little pool, we'll cover it up. I wonder if I can backtrack out of here as well. It's just kind of occurred to me that I've, for the most part, lost my bearings. I'm not sure which way we came into this space. I've got a shulker box back over there, though. Don't want to forget about that. Ooh, loads and loads of this stuff here. Loads and loads of this stuff. Ow! Hey, I thought I covered you up! Cheeky old lava. Harrow says, will you put out a black stone facade over where you're mining to make it look like the hermit's never dug, since it's closer to spawn? I won't. I'm mining underground at the moment, so I'm not creating any visible damage from the surface. But I'm not going to go and replace what others did, because I fly over there once in a blue moon. I just think it's a good idea to not see that stuff. Like, you just take a bit of time and effort to not do that, and it just makes a bit of difference. Like, you do notice it when you fly past, but you know, it's not like it's next to my base and I'm going to see it every episode. It's like once in a blue moon I see it, right? So it's not the biggest of deals. It's just kind of nice that you can avoid that if you think about it and go mine the basalt under like this. To be fair though, like I flew out really far when I did my first basalt mining, and just didn't think of doing it like this at all. I took all the stuff from the surface, so it's something to be learned. You have to learn how to do this. X, imagine Minecraft without a lighter and shulker boxes, says Austin Gaming Pro. Hey, I've lived that life. I played the game before it had this. You know, Season 2 of Hermitcraft, I was playing like Cubfan does today. You know, I said there was like, I always feel like there's a bit of similarity, like, because Cub does these just crazy epic resource gathering grinds. I used to do that back in like Season 2 era of Hermitcraft and Season 3. And man, I used to just like, I think there's an episode in Season 2 where I do a time lapse of me crafting things, because it just took so long to do everything. It was like crafting was like this big task. And then in order to go build somewhere, you used to do like montages of moving massive amounts of materials around. Like, that's kind of like where the gameplay was at before the game got faster. And you know, they've added more blocks, they've made things easier, you can move around faster. It just enables the best bit of the game, which is creating. It's good. Okay, so now we've got to head out of here, right? I've got a feeling we might have sort of come in from up above. I could just dig my way out of here, but if I try and backtrack, I'm not really sure how I came into this space, but I feel like it was from higher up, but maybe not. Okay, let's just dig out of here then. Gonna get a bunch of basalt as well by the looks of it. Okay, so we made our way to another underground pocket bit. Ah, I don't want to fall down, I want to go up. Is this it? I feel like that way over there might be the way to go. Hey-o! Hey-o! Oh! No! No! These are the worst, these lot. I'm committed! I'm committed! Woo! Beautiful stuff. Okay. I love flying through those hoops. They're fun. Bam! Look at me. Look at me go. Ah, do I remember the coordinates? I don't. But I think there's a tunnel to get to this place that we want to go to. Wrong way. Don't you get bored of building after some weeks, says Odaro. No, I don't. You got to remember though, when you have an audience. So thanks a lot. If your resub doesn't go through, I thank you nonetheless. Oh, what was the question before that? Okay, about getting bored, you got to remember that I have an audience. This really changes the experience when you're part of something like Hermitcraft. You're part of something that's really like enjoyed by a lot of people, and you know, you can stream and people come and watch. Like, that changes the dynamics of playing the game so much. It makes it really rewarding over and over again. Because it's not just like, I'm not just playing Minecraft, I'm hanging out, we're chatting. And that's something I think everyone probably likes to do, right? So it looks like this is the way to go. And this being a free high tunnel is good for flying. And I remember there being a portal and a left-hand turn somewhere up ahead. And that was probably it. Uh-huh. Who knows where they're going? I know where I'm going. Don't call me a fool. You can call me a dirt, but not a fool. Although I might run out of rockets. Some random glowstone, there's the portal. Sweet. That's actually all my rockets. Jeez, okay, well. Magma Man says you can build about 10 times better than me when you're in survival and I'm in creative. Well, dude, you know, just keep at it. Keep... Actually, I'm not going to use that bed. I'm going to use my own because I don't want to respawn here. Just keep practicing, man. That's like, it takes time. I've been playing for a long time, remember? Right, how about some noise in the air? I just kind of realised there's loads of them. I looked over and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of noises. Where did we get to? Elad Jenkins, thank you for 14 months of support. Bodie MC with the Prime, Elon Dude, Macka Packer 369 with cheers and bits, and also subscribing. Thank you so much, dude. And gifting a sub to Wessel TJE. Thank you for gifting the subs, appreciate it. Pain Boom is here with the Prime. How a Sawfish is here with cheers and bits saying, how do you take your tea? Oh, in the mouth, you know. I tried the old eyeball and I was like, oh, this is awful, what am I doing? You know? Definitely take it through the mouth. You know, did the nose once, that was pretty unpleasant. Ugh. No sugar, a little bit of milk. And that's it, really. Coconut milk today. Right, let's... I needed to make a note. There we go. Need to make a post-stream note. Ever seen Monsters vs. Aliens where he drinks through the ear? Oh dear God. Not the eardrum, leave it alone. Comedy Genuous! You hear that, peeps? I'm a comedy genuous. So thanks a lot here for 49 months, saying that's almost 50. It's closer to, technically it's 48, you know, it's 48 and a fraction, but, geez, forget about that. Thank you, dude, appreciate it as always. We have Scooby-Doo, 23. 12 months, saying, just popped in to say, good night, X. Enjoy your day. Thank you for your subscription, dude. I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy my day today. It is the weekend, which means no more cutting. I know some people are not fond on the old food discussions, but man, this week I cut really hard and I really felt it yesterday. Oh man, it was so slow and sluggish. I'm like, I need to change up my strategy, but yeah, yesterday didn't do as much. Today, just having a bit of a rest day. Although I did go for a run this morning and loved it. By the way, I went for a run the other day. So, it was after we streamed, Thursday, right? So I had this idea, like, used to do this years ago. I used to go running at night. And it is the best this time of year when it's hot. But you go in the evening. Like, the temperature's just right. The temperature's coming down. The atmosphere, everything. And because I've been, you know, working out so much and like cutting and pretty much like pushing myself as far as I can go, I didn't think that I should be running at night. But I thought, you know, do it one day, it'll be alright. And it was fine. But man, it was like the best run I'd had in ages, okay? Straight away, I'm talking like 5 minutes into running, I had runner's high. I just felt so free and easy. I was listening to Fell Silent and Code Orange, that was my soundtrack. So some pretty brutal music, but man, like, sometimes that's just what you need. And, oh, it was just the best run. But I did something different because of the situation, like being on a diet, like, well, you're always on a diet. Jeez, why do I keep falling off? cutting so many calories and having already worked out that day, I decided just to run like relatively slower than I would normally do. What I tend to do when I go running is I try and start in a fast stride and maintain it for as long as I can. So I'm pretty much like trying to push myself into the uncomfortable territory constantly, and that can make running a little bit you know, uncomfortable, you know, not as fun, right? Anyway, so I just decided, hey, take it easy, just have a nice good old run. And I absolutely loved it. And then I realized that all I was doing was sort of tapping into my stamina, but not like doing anything really intense. And so I did like a big lap, and as I came round to where I could turn and go home, I was like, nah, let's keep going, this is wonderful, I've got more energy in the tank and I'm just burning it slowly as opposed to like ripping through all I've got. And so I kept going. I ran for 40 minutes at this slower pace, and it was so good. It was such a good run. And so I did another one this morning, and again, slower pace, 35 minutes today. Could have actually done some more. I don't know why I didn't really. I felt fine as I sort of came to the end of where I was, but I think maybe I'll save my energy for those end of day runs. But man, I was so happy I gave it a shot, because I think now what I'm going to do is maybe run in the evenings on like a Sunday, and maybe one day in the middle of the week, like a Wednesday probably. Oh no, that's snapshot day. Although I could do snapshot and then just go for a run when it's done. But yeah, that's going to be my new thing, and I feel like I've missed the most of it, you know, missed the most of the hot weather. It's going to go away in the next couple of months. What's your 5k time, says Will Bloody Seed? That is a good question. To give you... Let me think for a second. I'm going to say about 24, 25 minutes. Although, no, I think I can probably do it less than that. Yeah, no, probably between 24 and 20 minutes, I'd say. But I haven't specifically ran a 5k to see how fast I could do it. However, that was a couple of months ago when I was at peak running fitness, which I'm not at anymore. I used to run on my treadmill at about 10.5 miles an hour for like 20 minutes. And I'd do some interval training as well, and then sometimes I'd do some, like sort of, you know, do a fast run and then kind of like wind down, so just get slower and slower for an extra 10 minutes. Anyway, so yeah, and then I ran a couple of 10Ks, I ran an 11K. That was around peak fitness, which I'm not at now. So at peak fitness I could have done that. But what happened was I kind of like... hurt, well I say hurt, you know, your hamstrings will get sore. So my hamstring got a bit sore, and I decided to give it a rest for a while, but then I think I gave it too much rest and I couldn't get back into it. I think it's because I was cutting calories, right? I just couldn't get back into it, and when I've been running over the past month where I've been cutting, I've not been able to get anywhere near that kind of pace. I've just been running at about 9 miles per hour for 15-20 minutes. So I think I kind of lost a fair bit of fitness that way. But then again, if I do it when I'm eating normally again, I think I'm going to do one more week of cutting, then have just a week of refueling, and then go back on it again. That's where I'm at. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, peeps. Honestly, I do this stuff and I just love having a place to vent. I know it's not the most exciting thing to talk about, but like, you know, you go through all these decisions, and it's nice to just be able to like let them off your chest. What is he doing during the stream, says Kagio? I'm mining terracotta. That's what I'm doing. I do have something else on the list. It's not all grind. Oh yeah, we're going to build the road to Ethos. Is Ethos still on? I don't know why I'm telling him. I don't know why I'm telling him. He's probably just thinking, okay, X. Okay, getting excited about Minecraft again, are ya? Jeez. It's so close, it is. Yeah, we'll go. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go We're going to go to the road between mine and Etho's and just take it all the way to where it will be a bridge. Maybe even start designing a little bit of a bridge, but to be fair, I would like... Actually, we could ask Etho right now. Oh, do you know what? Now I want him to say no, because what I would like to do is look at Etho's base style, because I love his the way he's done his base, and try and come up with a transition, like have a bridge that sort of takes some of the best bits of his and some of the design from my area and just kind of merge them together a little bit. Why are you talking in exclamations, says Hedgemot. Am I talking in exclamations? I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast the other day where he's taking the mick out of people who talk like this. Welcome to my live stream. Thank you for subscribing. Should we let you... I don't know. Should we let Etho do it? What do you think, peeps? I feel bad. I asked now. I want to do it. Etho's base is all interior, says Pearlescent Moon. Yeah, Pearl. That's a good point. Like, we've got to make an interior bridge. That's a bit of a challenge right there. That is a bit of a challenge. I feel like going over there and just start working on it. Like, I can come over here anytime and get more of this stuff, right? For now, it might be an exterior. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's go over there and see what we can get done. And maybe if Etho's around, he can come have a look and see what we're doing. Okay, so... Oh, I hear Enderman. Okay, it's not a threat. It's not a threat. Just need to sleep in the bed. You know. The moonlight has elevated... Jeez! Okay, there we go. It's elevated my fear of being creeped or something sneaking up on me. Okay, we got noises. Where did I get to? Immy160 resubscribed for 4 months, saying after some long and hard working days, I can finally catch you live. Awesome, glad to have you with us. I need to play slabs. Oh, he's in the Nether, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, so Etho isn't even at his base. Well, there you go. Make it a tunnel so that you can build an interior. Yeah, I was starting to think about that in my head a little bit. But then you're just going to have this weird tunnel go over a bridge. I don't know. We'll go over there in a bit and see what we can do. Yeah, considering I've travelled all the way out here, I probably should just make the most of it and fill at least 2 of these up, right? That one apparently is partially filled. Yeah, let's fill 3 of these up and then head back. Also, I'm going to chuck out a couple of these other blocks. Just because... Man, I hear zombies burning up. Ethan needs a rest of all the slabs he's been placing, says Bella Vanilla. Bella Vanilla. Yeah, the irony of Etho placing slabs, eh? Alright, we got... Surprise T for 31 months saying, why you and other hermits don't use mods like Tweaker or Mini HUD on Hermitcraft to help you with the grind. They make things so much easier without going into cheaty territory. I would consider Mini HUD cheaty territory, at least for me. Tweakeroo, I'm not really sure what it does, but the mini HUDs, like a heads-up display, a little mini map, that's not Minecraft at all, is it? Like, considering I use like vanilla tweaks and mods like the shulker box viewer, I tend to just stretch what the vanilla game is a little bit, you know? To me it's like, well, I'm just gonna pick out this shulker box, place it down on the ground, and then I'm gonna, you know, see its contents and put it back again. So it's just a little bit grindy where, you know, it'd be kind of cool if I could just see it anyway, right? So that's why I have a mod like that. But I don't really use maps, so I'm never really thinking. Maybe if I used maps a lot in this game, then I might think, actually, it's not so bad to have a little heads-up display mini-map on the screen. But You know, I don't really use stuff like maps. There's things in this game that I never really bother with, which is like maps and potions. I don't know why. I find some things you can just avoid using if your objective is just to build stuff, right? Maybe I should look at the game more like, hey, what can I do with maps? What can I do with this thing or that thing? One of the things I want to build is a tower with a map room. I want to do that soon. My mega project is going to be like a big old warehouse to put in lots of odds and sods. Like little projects that are experimental or, you know, don't really know where they're going to go, that kind of thing. Right, this beacon effect is going to run out around here. So get the most while we can. Thank you, Surprise T, for the 31 months of support. We got How a Sawfish here, with cheers and bits, saying I was hoping I'd phrased it well enough. Cheeky. I was hoping I'd phrased it well enough. I'm always cheeky. Oh, we got visitors. Oh, jeez, visitors. Don't they know I'm doing a live stream? Hey, do you remember we broke one of these over here? New rule. Doesn't even matter if they're not that close. Alright, okay, what do you want to know? What are you coming to see? I'm just collecting some terracotta, okay? Oh no! Oh no, the threat! Oh, the unbelievable threat of death. Oh, I'm gonna die. What a horrendous battle this is. My fortunes have just run out. Oh, I should give up. Did I get the ominous banner? Oh, it landed in fire. Great, I wanted that. I wanted that. Oh, jeez. Jeez, we almost died. This game is just... oh, it's too much sometimes. Right, here's a good rule. Put full stacks in. There we go. Okay. Hey, this flint and steel is shiny! I like that. It's a shiny. I will trade it for 4 normals. Right, we got a Shadow here for 7 months saying, what's your opinion on spicy food? Been watching for much longer than 7 months, I promise. I imagine you have. I imagine you have. Like, if you come here day 1, you're probably not going to subscribe, right? But thank you for the subscription. We got the only hire here with the Prime, and we got Elon Dude with cheers a bits. Thank you so much, Elon Dude. That means we're all caught up. You missed the invasion. They came without you. Jeez. Yeah, we are all caught up on those noises in that eardrum. So, I do like spicy-ish food. I used to be terrible with spicy food. Like, Doritos had these, like, somewhat spicy crisps, right? And I couldn't even eat stuff like that. But over time, I've been able to tolerate more and more and more slowly. And now I actually quite enjoy a little bit of food with heat. I actually cooked a gumbo the other day that was pretty hot. I'd never had gumbo before, and I cooked some gumbo. It was really good. Really, like, low calorie as well, and filling, which is cool. I like finding those meals. It's sort of low calorie but filling meals. They're good. Millet is here for 27 months saying, watching you hermits has made my involuntary hiatus from gaming bearable. I suffered a COVID-related stroke in December. Still in the long, slow process of recovery. Wow, that is early days right there. So, I hear the... oh, wait, that's not hooked up. I hear these horror stories of, like... and I call them horror stories, but they're, like, they're pretty well documented at this point, that some people who get COVID have just... like, it totally hampers them. You don't just recover from it. It's, like, incredibly slow and difficult to get back from over time. Which sounds like what you're saying. I'm sorry to hear you went through that. Also, going through that in December, that's like really, really early on. Must have been one of the first people to get it, unless you're from China, of course. But yeah, you know, I wish you all the best of your recovery. Take it easy, of course, and I'm glad we're able to fill in and help out. I feel like that's one of the cool things about watching people play video games, is sometimes it's just as enjoyable just to watch someone else do so much more than you can do. Like, I can't really think of much gaming content that I watch right now, but where I watched gaming content in the past, it's just like, yeah, I don't have time for this, but like, watching someone else do all this stuff is really satisfying. My friend got COVID-19 and he was... Oh, that went off the top of the screen. Again, picking out the ones at the top. But they got a rash. I have heard comments from people saying it can affect you in all sorts of different ways. That seems to be a thing, right? You should do some advertising for your block exchange, says Phenomenal Jeff. I actually plan on doing that. I actually have a thing planned for my episode after next, where I'm going to go and advertise it, right? I just realised I'm doing this kind of the slow way, but whatever. Don't know why I'm doing it this way, but it's getting done. X, how are you immortal? So many people keep saying something about being an immortal. I just guess this is the latest meme, right? Just a new meme that's popped up. That would be my guess. The mesa looks barren. Yeah, we've chewed out so many resources from it. It's really getting there. That's one of the things that I love about a Hermitcraft season is just like at the end of the season you can go to like the sand area, the terracotta area, and it's just bonkers. But this season it just feels like more than ever now. Why were I not picking up those blocks? Hey, inventory desync. Oh, I had one the other day. I had a really interesting one the other day. I shift-clicked my food, right? It was like here. I shift-clicked it so it would go down to my hotbar, and it totally just disappeared. It just went, nope. And then I looked around me. It hadn't dropped on the ground. I logged in and out. It didn't come back. I was just like, well, thanks, computer game. Thanks. Oh, I hear the groaning of zombies again. Right, I'm going to say that that will do us. That we good. Pick up these and then we're out of here. Okay. Gotta grab the beacon. Creeper Hunter says, what are your thoughts on being able to directly access shulker boxes inside of your inventory in order to solve the inventory problem? That could be a really good idea. If there was a smarter way of having items on your hotbar, like maybe your hotbar wasn't an inventory slot, but it was a relation to an inventory slot, right? Like, you're just seeing the beacon here is actually in this space, right? And so when I place it down, it disappears there. But that could mean that rather than telling you got one beacon, you could have, you know, 128 plus 53 basalt, and that could be down here in your hotbar. So then if you had stuff in shulker boxes, they could just be easily accessible via that method, okay? So you put a shulker box full of basalt, and all of a sudden that number ticks up to, you know, like a couple thousand or something, and that could be a really cool way for you to have large amounts of materials accessible all at once. Well, this is it, my friends. The rest of the way is a walk. A slow, painful walk. I probably do have rockets. Actually, let's just check. I should have rockets in there, shouldn't I? And I don't. And I don't think... Yeah, I need to put some rockets in here, basically. Is what I need to do. How does replay mod work and what are your thoughts about it? Well, it's a mod, so, you know, that's how it works, I guess. And my thoughts are I love it. I think it's terrific. I'll tell you one thing that came my way because I'm a Doom guy. You know, I might be a Strider right now, but I'm still a Doom guy. Some people sent me that someone had got Doom running in Minecraft. But I wasn't very impressed. Here's the thing. It was a mod, okay? So when you modify the game, you change the parameters, right? So what would be interesting about creating Doom in Minecraft is that there are all these limitations and you have to figure out a way around it. There are tricks in this game to put an image in front of the player through holding an item and it displaying across the entire screen. You know, maybe you could use that and some combination of things that appear in the world to give you the impression of Doom, or there's all these clever hacky ways in which you could make Minecraft seem more like another game. So all of that is really quite impressive when you have to twist the arm of the game to make it do something else. Kind of reminds me of old school programming where they used to have to really squeeze every little resource out of what was available to make games happen on systems. Stuff like Doom, a game like Doom on a 386 computer or 486, like, that's a really impressive level of squeezing everything out of the system. Games like, I don't know, you know, what are the big ones? Fortnite and Skyrim or whatever today, they don't do that. There's so much resources available that they can just be kind of sloppy and lazy, which is not so much a criticism, more of an observation, right? So when you make a mod to put Doom in Minecraft, that mod all of a sudden pushes back so many boundaries of what's possible and what's not, that to me it's just not exciting. It's like just running Doom on your computer, except it just happens through another program. But because you changed all the parameters, it's no longer impressive. So when I saw that, I was just kind of like, eh. What I should probably do is make an absolute ton of rockets and restock these. I'm not sure my sugarcane farm is that stocked up at the moment though. Do you know the moon landing used as much computing power as 3 NESs? Interesting. I know that there would have been some comparative way of looking at it like that. You could have said 1 NES and I probably wouldn't have been surprised. But 3 NESs? I mean, that's a mass-marketed console times 3. How many years? 30 years before? What was the NES? Like 86 sort of time? Maybe it's more like 84. So let's say, like, 15 to 20 years before. I've never seen a creeper spawn in my base. And it's on top of the shulker box. Also, that guy was 1 hit, 1 kill, which would suggest that it'd taken damage somewhere. But if it had spawned in here, I mean, it couldn't have fallen from somewhere. Very odd. That is rather peculiar. If you followed me there, if you followed what I was saying, it can spawn on this, right? Where we saw it, but the fact that I 1-hit killed it would suggest it had already taken damage from somewhere. So where did it take damage from? Oh, I forgot to put my beacon back in the nether. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Is this the truly Bedrock server? This server is not Bedrock. It is vanilla. Well, it's vanilla Minecraft, but we run the what's it called again? We run an optimization mod for it. Okay, and yeah, that goes in there. Okay, and with these other ones, gonna put these over here. Huh, it's kind of funny, but now I think I need a whole bunch of basalt. I do. I need to go mine basalt. Where did I just put those 3 basalt? Did I put them in the... I put them in here. Actually, no, that might be enough to get us through. That's kind of ironic there. I just realised. Spent all this time getting blackstone, but not basalt. Where am I going? I need to go into my pit. Right, noises in the ear. We got official Jaden with cheers and bits saying hello everyone and welcome to a food stream with Asuma where today we talk about food. Lol. Enjoy the bits, my dude. Still working on projects for you. Cool, dude. Thank you. I appreciate the cheers and bits. Someone actually sent me some fan art of me sitting at a table with all my favourite foods and the curry bowl was literally the same size and shape as the curry bowl that I eat out of. It cracked me up. I loved it. Oh, jeez, what a derp. No. Oh, they're all the dopamine fiends are going to be out now. You made sugar. Oh, press that button. Give us our fix. Jeez, bunch of derp fiends. Right, oh, Oh yeah, you can shift click them in like that. That is good. And I don't need a table to do that, so we can go stock up like crazy wherever we like now. Okay, I'll press the dirt button. Jeez, leave poor X alone. Oh, Efo's not online anymore. Lol, I just made 90 crafting tables. Whoopsie. Whoopsie doopsie. Yeah, that's pretty cool that you can do that. Oh, no you can't. You can't do it that way. Just when you're on a crafting table. Great. Thanks, Mojang. Thanks. Jeez. Trolling me, aren't they? They trolling me. Yeah, there we go. Bone Crusher is here, crushing bones for 4 months, saying nice to see you streaming. Helps me forget about the event going on, especially after going back into stage 4 lockdown in Australia. Yikes. Yeah, peeps, you know, I know some people are struggling with it a lot. I go through little ups and downs with how it all affects me and stuff, but here's the thing, my life has not been massively effective. I don't get to see my family as much, which really bums me out, but for the most part, most of my days are just spent, like, doing what I, you know, oh. No! No! Oh, colossal derpage! How do I get back up there? I got an ender pearl. I got an ender pearl, thank goodness. Oh, what a fool. Well, I get to use this, which I hardly ever use. And when I built it, I kind of knew I didn't, but I just wanted to have this here. This little walkway, you know. Okay. I can't remember what we're talking about. Something to do with lockdown. Yeah, like second wave's coming, peeps. Like, oh, I really wish the communication from governments, especially here in the UK, I feel like our communication hasn't been the best. I have experienced the understanding of the situation through the YouTube edutainment space and the science communicators, and it's so much more like, hey, here's this really big and complex situation that we're going into, and here are all these variables that affect, should we do this, should we do that, and here's how masks work, right, and the ins and outs, and this is why some people think they might not be effective, but actually it works like this. They give you this full picture on stuff, and you're then really informed to understand when things happen that, okay, first of all, things are complex and not simple, and there's multiple ways of looking at this, and what's the way we should be looking at it. And then when you see, like, the way governments are communicating, like, with orders of, like, now you should wear masks, now you shouldn't, and there's a lack of education there. I really think education is the tool for getting people on board with this, because governments are going to have to make, like, complex decisions that keep changing a lot based on the numbers that are coming through, and people are clearly getting fed up with, you know, 1 minute we're in lockdown, then we're not, and if you're educated on the matter, I think it's so much easier to get on board with it, because you realise that it's, oh, I need a crafting bench, it's just not so straightforward. Yeah, so Boris isn't handling the best, as Mr. Hoppopotamus. I'm not going to comment on if he's handling it well or not, and I think we can say that of probably a lot of countries, and then maybe there's some that clearly appear to not be handling it well, but what's important about saying if we're handling it well or not is that we really won't know until a long time after. It's going to take a long time to know and look at all the data and figure out everything that happened to get a clear picture of what we shouldn't have done, could have done better. You know, hindsight will tell us a much more accurate picture of everything that's going on. You know? Okay, there we go. Education is the most important defense against this, says KGO. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, education is what we need. And we're not going to know how we've handled the situation until after. And here's the fact, right? Here is a fact. Every single country could have done better. Because whatever happens, not everyone is going to take the path of most insular and protective action, okay? We will all have days where we forget to put on our mask or got a little bit closer to that person than we shouldn't. And as well as that, oh God, sometimes I forget what I'm going to say in the middle of saying it. It's really annoying. Yeah, anyway, sometimes there are, you know, multiple, like, we weigh things up as well. Like, we can argue that saving lives screws the economy and vice versa, right? So which one do we do? Because the economy is linked to people's lives as well. So you're talking about this massively complex set of variables and situations in which we can all act in different ways. Education will be the thing that allows us to understand how complex it is and to not get angry with one another and have a better understanding of why playing along with what we are being recommended to do is a good idea. That's the way I look at it anyway. And by the way, for people in chat that I'm looking at, when you say, "Oh, no one here cares," you got to remember that you have a propensity to look at negativity, and there's actually a lot of people that care and play by the rules. I saw it here the other day in where I live, where you know, people came to the shops wearing masks. I saw 2 people that didn't have masks on the entire time I was there. Now, I could have focused on that, but what I saw was so many people playing along. There's loads of people that are doing the right thing and trying to help out, you know, and are participating with good intentions. It's a little too easy just to focus on the people that are being negative, and sometimes because they're being negative, their actions get amplified, you know. So it might not be as doom and gloom as it sometimes seems. There are those of us who are doing our part for everyone else, and I think sometimes it's good to make others aware of that, because you don't want people giving up hope. You don't want people being like, oh, all these anti-masks and oh, I won't bother then. You don't want that. And by the way, something I learned recently, okay? I learned a while back that... Ah, bummer! That's not what I wanted to do. I learned a while back... Is that a dirt? Probably is. Press the dirt button. I learned a while back that okay, I need to go get some resources. Anti-vaccines or anti-vaxxing is not a new phenomenon. There has been anti-vaccine movements since the beginning of vaccinations, okay? And so some people, like, people often like to do this thing where we kind of look to some other era and think, oh, they, you know, they wouldn't done that back in the Spanish flu, you know. And I've seen a couple of those comments online. Oh, we wouldn't have been this stupid back when, you know, the Spanish flu happened. People played along back then. Actually turns out to not be true. Turns out that there was the anti-mask league during the Spanish influenza pandemic, and that actually there were lots of anti-mask movements. Are you watching Wisecrack? I am. I think Wisecrack is a fantastic resource for this kind of stuff, right? I really love the way they present their information and look into the philosophical side of things, right? So yeah, learnt that, and I was just like, you know, I'd wondered about it. I don't know how to do the research and figure this stuff out, right? But they did, and they figured it out, and they showed you tons and tons of examples and things that they can link to go, look, there was anti-masking back in the Spanish influenza. So we've always had this kind of split in society where people are for it, people are against it. Education is the tool. Education is the remedy. It's often ignorance that leads to seeing things different ways. But, you know, not all of... I said this the other day on a stream. That if you really are anti-wearing a mask because you don't want to be told to wear a mask, I'm totally on board with that. I can totally understand that. But for me, it's kind of weird when you also then refuse to wear a mask. Because we need people to wear masks to save lives. So it's strange how it then also becomes like an act of defiance not to wear a mask. It's kind of like you're saying, you know, the freedom is worth more than people's lives. It's weird. I love wearing masks, says Uno Jom Stupid. You know, I don't really like or dislike wearing the mask. I just do it. I can totally see how it might be a bit fun because it's like not normal, right? It's a bit out of the norm. Put on a mask. You could totally enjoy that. I don't see anything bad about that. Yeah, other people now saying I like it. I like wearing my mask. Hey XO, disagree. I think education can help, but I've definitely met people who simply refuse to accept the education and choose to believe what they want, says Prakit D3. Yeah, so imagine that you educate a population of 1 million people. How many of those people become that person you've just described, right? Whereas if your population of 1 million is uneducated, that small number of people that do that have more power over the others who are not educated. When you're not educated, it's easier to fall for different sorts of ideas, like, you know, it's a bit weird to try and give you an example off the top of my head, but maybe that'll make sense to you, but like, it's easier to fall for pseudoscience and, you know, things that aren't that reasonable if you haven't been educated on it. Helter Skelter says that's a failure of the educator in that case. People generally want to do right. The anti-mask crowd think they are doing right. Yeah, that's something that doesn't get pointed out a lot. People usually think they're on the right side. I wouldn't say it's a failure of the educator though. Some people are very, what's the word again? Contrarian. As someone who was probably, oh well, as a teenager I was undoubtedly contrarian with my parents, and I used to be quite like of rebellious spirit, I guess. You know, I can easily see how I myself might want to be in defiant of something else. Then, not anymore, but I'm having a real weird time with talking today. I keep forgetting what I'm saying as I'm saying it. It's like I've got brain fog. Candy Cane Omad says uneducated equals flat earthers. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. The thing with flat earthing and conspiratorial thinking, and why I think it's unproductive to just be purely dismissive of people in those categories, is that there is this phenomena that every time I tell people about it on stream, people quite instinctively think it sounds a little bit stupid, right? But intelligence, okay, is obviously a bit of a broad thing. It could be perhaps a bit difficult to pin down exactly what it is. But let's say just general intelligence. People who are generally on the intelligent spectrum tend to be more susceptible to conspiratorial thinking. So if you go into the world of conspiracies, on average you'll find that people in those circles might have a higher IQ. This is both theoretical and I think backed up by some scientific data, but you've got to realize, like, that means that there are probably some studies done. How many studies? I don't know. But I think if you just stick in the theoretical area of thinking here, it makes sense, okay? It's because if you're more intelligent, you're probably more likely to be inquisitive and question things. And what it puts a highlight on is actually how difficult it is to make sense of reality. And so, you know, questioning the norm and questioning the science, like if you take some of that flat earth seriously a little bit, like I have done when I listen to it, hopefully it would like shine a light on your own ignorance. Like, I think the problem there is that they get sucked into a narrative of, hey, I don't understand all this science stuff, therefore it must be a lie. Whereas actually, if you go and start learning the science behind you know, the reasoning of why the Earth is spherical, you might just realize that this stuff's really quite difficult to explain to someone else. Like, a lot of us here are probably not flat earthers, but if you have to try and convince someone that the Earth is spherical, would that be easy or difficult for you? Because we live with concepts, we live with understandings that we accept. Okay, we live with like, okay, this is the way it is, it's spherical, but then you just know that, right? And maybe you don't have the tools to explain why it is spherical. Listen to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson reply to flat earthers' questions and explain these things makes me realise, wow, I can listen to this guy explain it and it makes sense, but could I recite it to someone else? Probably not even then. Ah, yes, I think a big part of Flat Earth and other conspiracy theorists is the sense of not necessarily superiority, but feeling that being in the know, knowing something that others don't get or understand, says Axelu. Yes, yes, that's another point about that line of thinking that I'll get to. So anyway, you know, someone who is engaging with that stuff is engaging with thought and trying to figure things out, right? And that is often a sign of intelligence. The problem is that it tends to start on this back foot of like skepticism towards, you know, NASA and whatnot. And so when you realise that, okay, the Earth is it's spherical, it's something we will accept. If you yourself had to go and prove it to other people today, right, and I'm talking like scientifically prove it, not like pull up a picture and go, look, there you go, picture from space, it's sphere, right, you would find it so unbelievably difficult, I reckon, you know? So, yeah, the other thing is that there's also this appeal in conspiratorial thinking that it puts you in a position of being in the know. I listened to some stuff recently because I found this channel where they go... actually, give this channel a shout out. I really like what they do. It's called All Gas No Brakes. And they just kind of let other people talk. And they make it obviously comical and humorous, but humorous, but by letting other people talk, it's quite insightful to how other people think. And so with the conspiratorial stuff, they were interviewing a few people, and this conspiracy stuff, it's like about, you know, shadowy figures in government controlling the world and pulling strings. It strangely puts them in a position of having the answer without having to really explain anything. Because they can never tell you exactly who or how they work, but the concept is just there. And that's what I think is interesting about conspiratorial thinking, is that it puts you in a position of power. And I think that is an important thing to realise, especially if you engage with conspiratorial thinking yourself. It tends to tell you all the answers. You're the one with the know. You know what's really going on. But yet you can't actually quantify it or prove it, right? You don't have a smoking gun that, you know, Hillary's a lizard. Like, it's always just a step away from that. Yay the Real says, what I've also noticed, conspiratorial thought is often self-reinforced when faced with disagreement, even if only subconsciously. Yeah, I think it's that, like, it's easy to paint other people as being idiots or in the dark, like the old sheeple thing, right? Now, I got pulled into some conspiratorial stuff when I was younger, and I used to think and look around from a, let's say, an emotional perspective of being dissatisfied and disenfranchised, and just feeling like, oh, these sheeple, just going along with it, you know? And yeah, so when someone comes along and disagrees with you, it can be easy just to sort of put them into that idiot camp and be like dismissive. And if you feel like that at all, I would ask you to like examine those feelings of like other people as sheeple, right? Because you don't actually know who you're talking about. Like, when you think about how many people you actually know in this world compared to how many there is, if you're gonna go and call people sheeple, I mean, like, who? Who are the sheeple and why? What do you know about them? It's all of a sudden you're doing a heck of a lot of mind reading and guesswork for an entire population of people. I would encourage people to be unhappy with happy with uncertainty and with not knowing stuff as well, right? Be comfortable with your own ignorance to things. I think it can be a bit of a trap to try and fill in the gaps mentally. Only 3,600 viewers. I guess we got rid of those conspiracy theorists. Winky face is the thing called. Last time I looked, we had less than that. So if people are tuning out, fair enough. Fair enough. You know, do what you want to do. Wolf One Studios here for 5 months and not critical. Is here with cheers and bits saying, how do I get people's attention? Question mark. I was constantly making LP videos, but it's hard to stay motivated when you get no feedback. Also, love the vids. Been around since Amplified. Not critical. Thank you for first of all for cheers and bits, but for a specific question. This is what I like to answer, okay? Sometimes people say, hey, I do YouTube, got any tips? And it's like, well, you know, the internet is vying for your attention on how to be successful on YouTube. There is no shortage of channels that will tell you how to do YouTube all day long. But if you want to ask a specific question, I can give you a valuable insight. So, basically, the LP market is heavily saturated, okay? There is no shortage of LPs out there to consume. So if you want to get noticed, you have to stand apart from the crowd. But standing apart from the crowd isn't enough. You kind of need, like, to spark the flame to get going, which can be very tough if you're doing a Let's Play, because it's a heavily saturated market. If you like find a form of content you can create that not many others or no one else is making, gives you a lot better of a chance that when you get eyeballs on what you're doing, they'll stick around or they'll be more interested because what you're doing is unique. So, oh man, I'm having it again. I just keep, like, mid-sentence, my brain just sort of cuts out. It's weird. Uh-oh! 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 Oh, not so bad, not so bad. So what I suggest doing is, first of all, if an LP is what you really, really want to do, then you're going to have some other sort of content to get eyeballs on you, and then bring people over to your Let's Play. That is how I got started with Hermitcraft in a big way. My first Let's Play and my Hermitcraft series had eyeballs from the get-go because I built my channel around tutorials. Now, tutorials are something that people always need. It's also a heavily saturated and competitive market, but it also revolves around SEO, which is search engine optimization. This is where people go to YouTube and search for something, and search is honestly probably a really great way to get a channel going if you don't have connections. Let's say you know some people who can give you a shout out, bring a few people your way, get your channel a bit of a kickstart, then that's cool. But if you don't, search is probably your best bet. People are going to search for stuff and you want them to look at your videos, so you need to make your videos relevant to what they're searching for. So if you want to get, if like your LP, having your eyeballs on your LP is your dream, you're going to need something else to facilitate its growth. But also, you know, if your motive is you just want to make videos and be successful, like maybe you could find something different. It could be really fun to come up with a new concept that no one else is doing on YouTube and, you know, have a go at that, essentially. I have some valuable data. People rarely subscribe after watching one video. They need to regularly stumble upon your videos to subscribe and get invested. Surprise T, that is absolutely true, yeah. Very true. And another thing I would suggest, I think in this day and age there's a lot of hustle hard, putting out the calls to subscribe and like in front of you. I do it on occasion. I probably don't really need to, but I kind of also look at things from this perspective of like, I'm doing this for the long term, and you know, the occasional calls to subscribe and ask for likes or whatever, in the long run, you know, if they do give you more, technically they'll boost things in the long run, right? But I don't like to do it that often. But it's something to be considered. I've just realised something here. These walls are all supposed to be randomised, aren't they? Better to think that now than later. Anyway, yeah. So like, you'll if you go look up advice on YouTube, like I said, those plethora of channels that are just no shortage of telling you what to do to be successful on YouTube. A lot of them will tell you to cool to subscribe, cool to like. I would recommend maybe not doing that, especially if you've got really good content. Like, in a ways you want to kind of put it there subtly, make the people think like, I want to catch more of this, as opposed to tell them they want to catch more of it. So for example, let's say you get the ball rolling, you've got some really cool content, and people are starting to tune in and watch. Now rather than say, hey, subscribe and like, what you could do is in your video, in the flow of it, in an engaging moment, sort of point out, oh, by the way, I'm also preparing this video and that one for the future. Okay, I don't know what type of content it is you're doing. Maybe it's tutorials, right? Let's say we relate it to Minecraft. You're making Minecraft tutorials. You got this Blaze Farm video, and people are gonna tune in and watch it because your channel's getting going a little bit. Maybe just somewhere along the lines of that video, at an engaging point, you just mention that you're working on a magma farm tutorial, right? And it might just make someone think, oh, I'll subscribe and catch that in the future. I think thinking about presenting content in that way can be really valuable as well. In just saying, I've got the quality, and you know, I'm going to be doing these things in the future, and it will just make people think, oh, I want to catch that, right? So then your quality is the valuable thing there. LilDwnstream says, I saw a video earlier about how subscription levels on YouTube may not sync with the viewing and engagement, and so they think the subscriber metric is irrelevant. I can tell you that the subscriber metric is relevant, but the reasons for it to be irrelevant, it's not a black or white thing. It's relevant, but sometimes not so much. You have different types of content and different types of channel. My channel is dominantly subscriber based when it comes to Hermitcraft, and then it's dominantly recommendation based when it comes to snapshots. What this means is that people who are subscribed to me tend to watch Hermitcraft, and people who are not subscribed tend to watch snapshot videos. Now if I dropped doing one of those, my channel would be mostly one thing or the other, right? So I have a mix of both, but what it tells you is that, Hermitcraft is a recurring series, a let's play, part of a heavily saturated market. It is not the most, oh, I must subscribe type content, right? Because there's so much of that out there. However, sorry, I'm wording this incorrectly. It is not the most, oh, I'm going to subscribe for this content, but people who are subscribed are catching it as it comes out in its regular format through the subscription. Now, when a weekly snapshot comes out, loads of people search for that. So it means that I get a lot of traffic through recommendations and people searching for it. And so you have like two different types of audience on YouTube you can have. And myth-busting, says Official Jaden. Yeah, myth-busting's unfortunately fallen a bit wayside. It's just a bit too much for me to produce that on a regular basis. I talk about this all the time, but I never get anywhere with it. I kind of like really need some assistance with preparing stuff like that, which would go a long way to being able to make more of it. But hey, that's just something I'll have to figure out. But yeah, myth-busting used to be a mix of like people who are subscribed would watch, but then those videos would take off and bring people in from the outside. These days it's more like it just reaches my subscriber base, and that's kind of it. So the show probably needs its format rethought out, but I kind of just enjoy doing it as it is as well, so there's that. Not everything has to be like, the most successful thing ever, right? You can just enjoy doing it. Surprise T says, my best performing video was a snapshot video I published before anyone else. It was also the April Fool's joke, though. Yeah, so there's the old snapshot race is a way to get views. People race to get those videos out as quick as they can, and that's the reality is you'll get eyeballs, but if you're rushing that content out, you're not going to perhaps drive subscriptions because you're not going to be able to produce as quality a video if you're rushing that snapshot video out. So obviously I get mine out fast, but I also have a level of quality that I aim for with each and every video. Like I basically kind of aim to cover everything with reasonable accuracy, and that obviously takes time to do, but I've got a good workflow. I know how to put the thumbnails together quickly and figure stuff out as I go. So I have both got those videos out quickly and, you know, maintained quality on them, so to speak. To be honest, I don't care at all about myth busting, says Jackster. That's fine. It's not that interesting to everyone, right? One thing I will say about myth busting to defend it, though, is that the game is full of quirks and really interesting things that you just ain't going to find unless you poke around. So it's always nice for me to poke around, and then you might just learn, oh, this thing didn't work how I thought it would, and maybe it's useful. Right, how about noises in the ear? Pandakin, for 4 months, I'm having a great Sunday, thanks for asking. Thrashing Rhino and Last and Ingy have subscribed and reloaded us here for 21 months, approaching 2 years, yes. Thanks so much, dude, appreciate it. Oh, Surprised, he says it was an April Fool's joke made well in advance. I tried to make real ones, but it was far behind big names like you. Yeah, you know, I've come to dominate the market, and it's kind of weird. I almost feel a little bit guilty about it sometimes. I was going to say something I don't know if I should say or not, but what I will say is that I know... Yeah, I can say this. I know other people have stopped doing snapshot videos, and I'm not saying I'm the reason they haven't, but when your snapshot video can't get views and I'm getting them, it's kind of a bit weird, because I made those videos for such a long time. I think I started making them in 2014, and when I first made them, first of all there was a little bit of a kind of... These things always pop up and happen. You know, it kind of happened around Hermitcraft recently, and I know when other people play on a server together, some people out there might go, oh, you're copying Hermitcraft, which is just not cool in the slightest. There's some of that out there. When I got started with snapshots, you know, I used to get comments like, oh, leave it, you know, you shouldn't do this, leave it to Doc, Sethbling, and Etho. Those were like the 3 that you would see their names come up. And I sort of, it was weird, I sort of felt like I might be stepping on their toes, right? But obviously anyone can make a snapshot video. And I just stuck at it over the years. I enjoyed doing it, kept going. And then the last couple of snapshot cycles, other people kind of dropped out of doing it, like Doc and Sethbling disappeared, and I guess maybe I kind of filled that void a little bit. But now I'm at the point where I'm pretty sure mine are the most popular, right? Like, they get all the eyeballs on them, and I almost feel guilty about it now because, whoa, because other people struggle as a result of that. Doc and Etho used to make those, says Salty Hallerman. Yeah, Doc used to be the snapshot guy, right? He used to get together with the Zip Crowd crew, and it was like here's the snapshot, but also you know, crazy cool stuff you can do with it. That's one thing I would really love to incorporate into mine, but I don't have the time to kind of like pull that together, but to have like some sort of showcase of interesting stuff, right? Because you gotta play around with the snapshots a lot to find things like that out, and I don't have the time to do that. My thing is very much, let's check it out, let's talk about all the things that are in it, and just, you know, do that each week and get excited for the update, basically. But I don't go in and like play around in survival unless something really big gets added and I'm like, oh, I can make a new farm or something cool with this. So I don't have that element to my videos. I'd love to get that in there, but I don't think it's really possible. But that's what Doc used to do. Doc used to kind of bring that in. Sethbling used to sort of get into the more technical stuff and show you cool stuff you could do with technical features kind of on the fly. And when I got started, my thing was just, like I said, just show you what it is. I used to focus on the bug fixes a fair bit as well, stuff other people ignored. But yeah, so actually, did Efo do snapshot videos or not? I think he did like occasional ones, but Doc and Sethbling were definitely big players in that market. And I think Captain Sparkles and Ant Venom as well, but like these people stopped doing it over time. And when they stopped doing it, people kept looking for them, and they came to me eventually, I guess. I remember Sethbling's guide on building things like block update detectors before observers became a thing. Yeah, that was like his sort of videos would be like that. Efo did that as well. But for example, in a like Sethbling snapshot video, that could be something you'd expect. Like it's like, hey, here's this new feature and here's something you can do with it. Kind of like Ilmango and the stasis chamber in the recent snapshot, right? I saw the potential straight away, but I didn't have the time to go make a contraption or anything. So yeah, it's kind of like what you'll see from Ilmango, right? He won't just say, here's what's changed, he'll also show you some stuff you can do with it as well. Alright. Slice Slime goes over a lot of technical changes in snapshots as Exoskeleton. Slice Slime is also a developer of the game. I noticed that you can catch things in his videos that aren't in the changelogs quite often. Okay. Right, I need to think about what I'm doing next. I need that. I need this. I'm going to need some lanterns. I'm going to need... Yeah, I'm going to need stone. No, is this... No, it's not stone I put in. Actually, no, I do need stone for something else. I'm going to need glowstone. See, this is why you come back and think things through. So you can walk out there and then go, oh, I forgot this thing. Right? Because even when you think things through, you're going to forget something. So we need glowstone. We need yellow carpet. White carpet as well. Probably a lot more white carpet, to be fair. Yeah, probably a bit more glowstone just in case. There's quite a bit that I can do with just that. I'm also going to grab some grey concrete. So I might have forgotten some things, but I'm pretty sure I can just crack on and get a bunch of stuff done with these materials. Oh yeah, John Mitchell. I saw that Efo came and gave me some bounties. There were actually 2 diamonds for 1 head was the idea. But Efo will get something back in return, that's for sure. Okay, so if I come over here, I need to do a little bit of poking around first of all. Well, that was not a lot of poking around. You know, I'm done now. Job done. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it actually lines up with that. Well, okay, so I'm going to put glowstone here each and every time is the idea. But maybe not there because then you would see it from the edge. So let's go either side. I'm not worried about making all of this stuff perfect, peeps. Not worried at all. This will also add light to that dark area down below. Snapshot, videos, usual views. Slice Slime 12k, assume avoid 500k, says MacBrain. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Like I said, I almost feel guilty about it, but hey, I hustled hard for a long time and I got here, I guess. Who invited you to Hermitcraft, says Jackster. Generic B invited me. Back in the beginning when he was starting it, he invited me and he said invite a bunch of your friends, and so I invited Biffa and Corrales and Sokar and Red Eyes and I think there was like one other person from my little circle. And that's how we got started. And look, Corrales is here today! Still playing. It's been a long time. Tell the story, says EE. Which story? Which story should I tell? The Hermitcraft story. Okay. Where were we with the noises in here? Relos was the last one we read. So Chris Silver 925, thank you for your prime. We got Shawnee YX for 18 months saying, hope you're doing okay. Are you affected by the northern lockdown? I'm not, because I'm not up north. Thank you, appreciate it. Also Octopi 56 for 3 months. I mean, we're still in lockdown down here, down south. So I'm a bit unsure of like what the changes are because I haven't been watching the videos or reading the news as much, but I understand that they're trying to they were sort of coming out of lockdown and now it's like, no, we need to go back in. Seems to be the general gist and people are upset about it. And how did you meet Corrales, says Crits? I shot him a message. He was friends with Sokar. And this is back when we used to talk to each other using YouTube messaging, which is no longer a thing. And we were kind of like, you know, I was early days of networking and I shot Corrales a message and say, hey, you know, your channel's cool, I love what you do, and do you want to partner up and I'll put you on my little box of channels and vice versa. And he was like, yeah, sure thing. And then started talking and, you know, invited him to Hermitcraft. So just gonna happen like that, really. False 2 says Joggy Dog. Yeah, False was also a pre-Hermitcraft. Pre-me making videos, actually, I knew False. That's crazy. That's like 11 years. YouTube messaging kind of cringe looking back on it, says Thick MC Nick. Why cringe? It wasn't cringy at all. It was actually pretty cool. Just, you know, just a messaging system, just like you'd have anyway. Just a way for people to communicate with one another. Used to use it a lot back in the first few days, and you know, when my channel first started and I only had a few viewers would like message me and would have conversations and stuff about the things that I'm creating. It was a really nice time. You know, things have changed extraordinarily for the better, but there are little details like that that I kind of miss from time to time, right? You can't have that when you're a big channel. It's just not how it works. 1, 2, 3. Right, so that right there is pretty much the road coming all the way over to where we'd start to build a bridge, which, looking at time, I'm not sure what we get to do. Maybe we can hypothesize and brainstorm and maybe put together a block palette for this next part of the bridge, I guess. Something along those lines. Okay, so then we need lanterns next, which I don't actually have to do next. What should we do next? I don't know. The glowstone can be seen from the side. Is that what he wants? It can't there. It might be there, but that's not a problem. Okay, so next we need a particular block that is in this chest. Bane of Solace has subscribed. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Who do you think propelled Minecraft into being this YouTube mammoth? I would say it's got to be Yogscast. I can relate this to a philosophy or a theory, if you like. The great figures of history idea, that history is shaped by great individuals. I don't really subscribe to that. I subscribe to the idea that there are so many moving parts that some people just turn out on top. Like, if there wasn't Hitler, there would have been someone else at the forefront of the Nazi movement. And I think it's like that for a lot of things. Not to say, geez, I mean, to go from great figures to Hitler, not saying Hitler's great. He definitely wasn't. He was the opposite of great, okay? If you made a scale of great to not great, he'd be beyond not great. But the point is that, like, that's a movement that happened. It wasn't just him pulling all the levers and pushing all the buttons. Like, it was It was a party, it was a movement, it was something that was already happening. And someone rises to the top of that. Are you a structuralist historian? Oh, I've never heard that term before. Maybe. Maybe that's the way I'd look at it. So yeah, I look at it like... Oh wait, I'm going to do this wrong now. I forgot how it works with slopes. So I look at it like people come to the prefaces. They, you know, when big things happen, you have these big historical figures, then quite often they're just that person in that position. It's like Churchill, you know, if there wasn't Churchill, there might have been someone else who would have filled his boots and taken up that role. Okay, here's a spot. So basically we start at the lowest and then we double up. That's the way I can look at that and make sense of it. I think that takes away credit away from the work of that particular individual, says some guy. Okay, so if I had to rephrase what I was saying, I'm not trying to take credit away from them, and I don't think credit should be taken away from them. I think they still have to do the great things that they did, right? But so often are the great things that people appear to do part of a bigger system. Okay, if you wanted to look at Churchill and go, oh, he's a great figure who won the war for us and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, could he have done it on his own? Just him? Just one person versus all of that lot? No. There were so many people involved, and that's what I think is true of many situations historically. There's so many people involved, and so someone ends up rising to the top and being the figurehead just based on how we need leaders and we need structure. Why did we even get started talking about this? Wasn't this like related to Minecraft? It was related to the Yogscast. So we've gone from Yogscast to Hitler. That was pretty unexpected for this live stream. So anyway, the reason that I wanted to bring that up is because, you know, Minecraft and what it was, and it being Notch, who said, oh, you can, you know, upload videos of you playing this game, that's fine. And that, I think, probably creates a template for anyone to do what Yogscast did, but they were the ones that were there, right? Like, I think my channel is obviously a reflection of hard work and dedication, but it could have not turned out this way if I just didn't get the spark back in the beginning. What if after my first 100 videos I had 10 subscribers? Would I be doing this here today now? Probably not. Like, I would have gone on a different path. So there are a bunch of different circumstances, and I feel like that there is a space for this, right? Like, I haven't created this space, it's just there, you know, like, this is something that people are interested in, and I'm the one filling that void, right? Void, assume a void. Pun? No, not really. It's probably a mix of both things though, right? I'm not saying it's all that or all the other, but I definitely think there's something to thinking and looking at it that way. How many subs did you have after 100 videos, says Bates? Great question. I'm going to guess probably about 10,000 by then. I mean, I really hit the ground running with this stuff. Like, first video pulled in several subscribers, several hundred views. I did not have a hard time getting started. But that's because I had, you know, I had the instinct, I guess, to kind of like go advertise my stuff. And that was at a time when Minecraft videos are actually in demand. There weren't enough of them. People were like, whoa, this whole Minecraft video thing's happening, and we want more of this. And I was just right place, right time, knew where to advertise, posted my videos on Planet Minecraft forum, and it just pulled people in straight away. Got a shout out from Doc, that gave me a boost, and it was just kind of steady sailing from there. When you started up, how many subs did you expect, says Tuge Glow? I didn't really expect anything. I just saw this thing that was happening. People were making Minecraft videos, they were growing channels. I think Efo might have had like 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers at the time. Maybe not even as much as that. And I thought those numbers were like phenomenal. I was like, whoa. Actually, it was probably less than that. It was probably more around like 10, 12. And Doc's channel probably had like 8. You know, it seemed massive back then, but basically it was just discovering, like, you know, a small niche community thing that was basically about to explode and go everywhere. And I just got in right at the beginning, and yeah. It's very hard to advertise nowadays, says Severitis. I think it is, and it isn't. I think maybe advertise is probably not the right way to look at it. I think you can, if your quality is really good, I think you can find success through YouTube's, algorithms and promotion system. Probably take a bit of trial and error and figuring out what things work, but I do think it's possible to succeed without just direct advertising, right? Pearl St. Moon says, the more you grow, the more you lose sight of just how many people 40,000 really is. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm kind of like just so happy with where I'm at. Like, I've gotten so beyond the point of any expectation or dream. Like when I started doing this full time, it was just like the idea of having 1 million subscribers was just ridiculous, like that'll never happen. But then here we are all these years later. I'm just happy to keep going and enjoy it, like wherever it goes really now. The numbers just, yeah, they're great, but like they've gotten to a point where you can just forget about it and just enjoy the experience, which is what I focus on. What do you think of Dream's insane growth, says Lelius. I'm not sure what your question is there, but let's say you're like, what are we thinking is insane growth? So it's kind of relative, because it used to be that, like, a long time ago, a channel with 100,000 subscribers was just massive. But now, that's not so impressive, because there's channels with 10 million subscribers and even 100 million. So it changes as time goes by. Like, me having 1.5 is probably quite different to if I had it 5 years ago. Be a different sort of attention. So, anyway, having done this for so long and at times, looked at the numbers and thought about, oh, what if I had this many or that many? Just come to realise that it's about the experience. It's about enjoying what you're doing. Let's eat. How long do you see yourself doing YouTube for, says Sizzle? It pays the bills, and so when it doesn't, I'll have to pack it up and do something else, obviously, but if you'd have told me in the beginning I'd be doing this for 10 years, I would have probably thought no chance. But until something comes along that I really instinctively feel like, oh, I have to do this, I'm pretty content with just cracking on with doing this all the time. It's so much fun. Okay, so we need a little bit more andesite, which I didn't bring with me. We need some lanterns. And then we need to put in the walls. I can probably put in the walls on this run. And apparently I left my ender chest up there. Okay, we've got noises in the ear from Hakanahau with the Prime. Will Tech subscribing. Slytro for 13 months saying, listening back to my videos, my voice sounds intermittently dull, especially after hours of playing. How did you train your voice to sound constantly enthusiastic? Oh, how do you sound constantly enthusiastic? Well, first of all, hello YouTube. I've been there, I've done that. It's just what happens when you first turn the microphone on yourself. You won't be aware of it. Like, the way we talk to each other day to day, just imagine having a chat with your family, and then imagine it was like a live stream you were watching right now. Imagine what that disparity is like. This isn't normal talking, basically. This is streaming talking. So, if I'm sitting around with my family, having a chat, having a waffle, it's a totally different tone of voice. So when you come and start recording, you generally go to that tone of voice. Kids that are grown up watching this stuff, or maybe even adults, like, if you're really into the whole YouTube thing and watching people and you're exposed to like talking like this, like right now, you may then just naturally know that's a space you go to. But for me, it was something that I learned over time. Like, as time progressed and I was talking to an audience more and more, I just steadily found my way to putting my emotions or my enthusiasm, as you pointed out, into my voice. To the point, it's almost like voice acting in a way. Like, you just know where it is and it just becomes second nature. But then, as you saw a moment ago, I can just ramp it up if I want to and become, all of a sudden, incredibly enthusiastic and excited and oh my god, I can hear an endermite, you know, like it's just there. You just learn where it is and learn how to put how you're feeling into your voice. Negative Panda says you become a character. Yeah, you become like a characterization of yourself. Like, people often ask, like, oh, are you like this in real life? And the answer is obviously no. But, like, that doesn't mean this is inauthentic. This is just a part of me. This is the part of me that has been created through doing streaming and having this space to just play a game and waffle to a bunch of people. It's fascinating. Laminator, there's an in-between too, which is what all the conversation is about. Not over the top, all the time, but also not sounding bored, tired, and depressing. Says Alizea. Yeah, everything comes in a range, right? It also depends on like what you want to do. We know that there's some content creators out there that have like really enthusiastic personalities, right? I can't think of one because I don't tend to watch that, but there are some like you might deem over the top, for example. I'm sure we can all think of someone if you've seen those sorts of channels, but that's like, that'll appeal to some people, right? That level of energy. So another thing is, like, don't try and go somewhere you're not comfortable with. That won't work. You need to do something that you enjoy. And yeah, if you were to just flick through my videos over the last few years and just hear the change in the voice, it's totally natural. It's just totally my normal, like, well, not normal, like my progression has just been in that direction steadily. What is your favourite kind of music, and do you think it has a direct effect on your life? Says Mark my name. Absolutely. My favourite type of music is metal and hip hop, and it's had a massive influence on my life. But more broadly, I just love music so much. Those might be my favourites, but man, it'd kill me if I had to like give up listening to ambient or something, you know. Been listening to a lot of Steve Roach lately, just digging those ambient vibes. Okay, just want to double check. All of these are in the correct position. They just look a bit odd the way this lines up with that. Maybe I could have done this slope slightly different, but it's too late for that. It's too late now. I'm really glad with how much we got done on this today. Like, this was just another little thing over here in the base that needed doing. Alright, Shadow Oi has subscribed. Thank you, Chadoy. Appreciate it. We are caught up on the noises in the air. Have you heard of a band called Rage Against the Machine, and what do you think of them? I have heard of them a very long time ago. I was listening to them. I've seen them live as well. Oh, I think this is the first time we've had this, so I'm just going to make up my own rule. Now everyone wants to talk about music. Are you a fan of Bjork? I have been meaning to get into her records for quite some time. Quite some time. There's so much music out there that there's just loads of artists that just end up on that kind of like, oh, one day I'll get round to them sort of area. Why do you need a road if there's no cars in Minecraft, says Leonard Guardia. I think it helps with the immersion of the base. I feel like having roads brings like structure and connectivity, even if they're not practical and they're not used. They obviously tell you what they are because they look like roads, and so, you know, you might follow the road, right? So if you're in Kralis's base and you see a road, you can follow it to my area, and now you can follow it to Etho's, and I just feel like that brings something really immersive to this area. What I would like to say is I wish my base from the get-go was a bit more accommodating of roads. Maybe I could have had a bit more of a complex system of roads around my towers to connect them. In fact, I would say right now I would trade the roads for the paths that I built, but it's probably a bit late to, you know, change that aspect of my base. Here's another thing, peeps. I always talk about the next season and what I'm going to do. I've started to develop one heck of an idea that I just am not allowed to talk about, okay? I'm literally not allowed to talk about it because if I do it, I just want it to shock people and be like, okay, we're doing this season. But yeah, I've started like getting very inspired for something quite massive and awesome that I'm pretty sure I'm going to do next season. And what I will tell you is that it's underground. But ironically, I was sort of wrestling with this idea of maybe doing a in the sky floating base next season, and now I've just gone the total opposite direction. But you'll have to wait. I have to wait. I have to wait for season 8 for that one. Loved your recommendation for Billie Eilish, My Future. I have had it on repeat, says Dinosaur Alley. That song is utterly beautiful. I want to read through the lyrics because I get the gist of it just by listening. But being in love with your future and loving yourself and looking forward to tomorrow, I just felt like it's a great message, but the way she expressed it is awesome. And I love her singing style. She's like a classic, like just got one of those classic kind of voices, right? But sort of reimagined with a bit more of a modern sound and just really indulgent. I love that song so much. I'm definitely going to listen to it a few more times. I hope she actually goes more in that direction because I think she did that with the James Bond song, which I didn't actually listen to a lot. I can't really remember it. But like her first album having all this experimental, more avant-garde, noise-oriented leanings was like a really interesting thing to see like push into the mainstream. And you might think, oh, I hope she does more of that. I hope she like finds ways to experiment more. But like hearing her do these more classic sort of singing songs, it's like, this is gorgeous. I just can't get enough of it. The Soul Hunter says, I do not like her music at all. Well, go listen to this new song she's put out. It's beautiful. I think you'd be hard pressed to say you don't like it. It's such a inviting and gentle song. Little Pieces, have you listened to Idols? Yes, and I've seen them live. Speaking of which, Rage Against the Machine, I've seen them live. Also seen Idols live, says Drunk Cow. We got a drunk cow in chat, people. Watch out for that drunk cow. Eating up all the grass, are ya? Jeez. Jeez. These jokes aren't even funny, are they? Okay, there you go. Alright, we got LilDwnstream with the subscription. We got Raffy Warren for 5 months. Coming late, but I can enjoy anything I can. Welcome, dude, welcome. She's got pure talent, says Zal. Yeah, she is definitely a talent. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, from here to over... Oh, jeez, just epic spoilers in the background, but probably no one noticed it. So yeah, then the road's going to go off in that direction and connect up to Ethospace. I feel like, you know, how do you transition from one style to another? We'll need to see what Etho comes up with first. Anyway, my friends, as you might suspect, we have reached our regular interval of 2 hours. And that means that we're going to be ending the live stream. Massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. I'd appreciate it if you could hit that follow button before you head out of here. And as we so often do, we're going to go look for a small channel to raid to support the Minecraft community. And I'm just looking for a channel here. Just trying to make sure we pick up something English. That tends to be my rule, right? Just okay. Hardcore with Heartbeat. That sounds interesting. Oh, it's Brenny Beast. Oh yeah, that guy's back. I believe Brenny is someone who swears, so just so you know. But that's who we'll raid. Okay, so that's it from me this live stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the raid button in chat, hit the follow button. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.